times are weird, and so we have to really be okay with differences. And I'll tell you, it's really different building community nowadays than it used to be. Being an adult, the more that you grow, like you'll see that anyway, no matter what timeline you're in, because when you're an adult, it's different than when you're in college versus when you're a teenager in high school versus elementary school. Because you're not really friends with people or involved in communities because of interest, and we have a hunter gatherer instinct sort of as our animal instinct. And knowing this, what I've had to learn in life is that nobody can interpret your relationship with God, with higher power, with spirituality. Nobody can get in the way of that. But if you can build a solid community, gather resources, it's like the TikTok lady, the baby formula lady, who was able to gather all kinds of church resources from multiple churches and even like multiple religions to gather people who would actually help with baby formula and funding and all of that. And so it's teaching you, like, she's herself is not religious, and she's saying, like, you don't necessarily have to be. But if you can build that solid foundation, sometimes there's going to be casual, like, community where you might be going to church casually, and sometimes you might just go a lot more often. And sometimes you might decide that that's, whatever's best for your family, that maybe church is a negative thing or a positive thing, depending on the church, of course. And, you don't want to be in a very hateful political space of any kind, whether it's friends, whether it's religion. And I definitely have a preference in the way that I like to have spirituality and be more open and less judgy and that kind of thing. But I'm also aware that we're all going to have different disagreements and, all of that kind of stuff. And I think that there's a smart way to go about navigating community to the point where you can get a lot of use if you would just put your political differences aside, especially nowadays when times are strange and we really need to hunt and gather resources and help each other out. Like, it's really touched me. I've been able to connect people with each other or with other communities. I've been able to be very grateful for the help that I've received. Even if I didn't agree with all of the approaches, I've still received quite a bit of help and put differences aside. And so that's kind of how I approach it, and never trying to cut anything off. There's always different ways of having community. And that's something that I'm learning all the time with religion, with disability, with just going about life.